Welcome to Filipinos in the Six podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Suave Cafe, Corner Cafe and Bistro, one of the best in Scarborough, maybe in the land. I go by the name of JonTheBarber. Today we have a very special guest. I hope you all are ready for it. I just want to go through a little thing right now where how I met or even discovered this artist. A gentleman by the name of Gavin Shepard hit me up and was like, this is astonishing artist, you got to hear him. Ironically, he happens to be Filipino as well. And I was like, okay, I never really stray away from anything that Gav tells me or does. So he shoots me the music, and immediately I was astonished. I couldn't believe who I was listening to, who I was dealing with. And then obviously I just seen Russell around, and I ironically was playing his music on my bike, and I ran into him on the side of the road one day.
Hell yeah.
And I hailed him up, and the rest is history. And I hope I can keep growing a relationship with this artist, because he's through and through one of the best, and I honestly, truly believe in him. None other than Russell.
Thank you, man.
Welcome, brother.
Appreciate it.
No worries, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah. I'm actually happy you're interviewing me, so that's
this is, I kind of was super high key, excited.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad that you had the opportunity and the time to come and share with us.
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm very tapped into the channel.
Yeah.
And, I've watched the prior interviews, and I mean, anything regarding both things, being from Toronto and being Filipino, I'm all about exploring and just meeting people within the space. So, it's an honor to be here, man, for real.
Amazing. Appreciate you coming.
Definitely.
Please describe I don't want to call it a uniform, but as of lately, you've been rocking these super vintage pieces and specificity, the green jacket joint.
Yeah.
And is that for per project? Do you gear up and have a certain look, because it's very Karl Lagerfeld. It's very reminiscent of those types of examples.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the sweetheart world right now.
Okay.
And I'm Mr. Sweetheart. And I don't want to speak too much of it, because you never want to break the fourth wall. But I do want to say, it fits the music that I'm about to release to the people. And it'll make sense when they do hear it.
Okay.
But I'm built for comfort. That's just how I am.
That's your style.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love vintage pieces. I'm a big vintage guy.
Okay.
Funny enough, just shopping at Relocation.
Shout out the boys.
Shout out Relocation. Shout out Pope. But yeah, I like going over there. I usually, it's funny, I have a joke with one of my friends where it's I just never really spend more than $50 on something, because I'm always thrifting.
That's dope.
I'm always thrifting. I'm super sustainable like that. I just like pieces with history, and I like carrying on that history. When something's a little worn in, or there's already pre-made holes in something, and you're just making the holes bigger because maybe you're just smoking a cigarette and you burn a hole in something.
Yeah,
but it's so cool to just ash on your pants or something. You know what I mean? Or just get a little something, a little ketchup. But
characteristic.
It is what it is. Yeah, it just builds to the character, and it's funny because everybody always says oh, that's your style, dude. You're cool, and I've always ever since I was a kid, I've always been into that. I give a nod to my mom, because she was actually a big thrifter, so It just kind of it passed on to the boy. And now I'm super big on it, especially just very random logo pieces. I love. I'm a logo mania junkie. So yeah, just any tees I can get, and especially my line too, my Sweetheart line.
That's what I wanted to get into.
Yeah,
So I noticed your merch stuff tends to have logo flips and.
Yeah. Shout out Jacob Barnett. Him and I are just very big on skate culture and just underground hip hop too, and streetwear. Streetwear is a big part of both. Yeah. And yeah, we just I can tell he studies it and I study it, and I'm just a big fan of the whole thing. So, a lot of Sweetheart pieces are honestly kind of made for you to age, made for you to drip a little barbecue sauce on and kind of just age yourself and not care about him in a sense, right? Because it's just I want those to be your most comfortable t-shirts. You know, like just kind of how I feel about t-shirts. I like throwing on a good t-shirt.
The t-shirt your girlfriend steals.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And then she ages it out, and then you have this like piece that lasts ever so long. So, and I do love band tees and stuff like that. I'm a big like music nerd and merch nerd, so I love stuff like that. But
is there like a process you go through, like where you're like, okay, Yankees logo, famous line from Scarlet's Week, you know what I mean? Like,
and those are just like spontaneous ideas, which I love. Like, I'm just kind of like thinking about things on the spot sometimes, or, you know, Jacob and I will just like kind of bounce things off of each other. He'll send me a design sometimes, and I'll be like, oh shit, that's cool, and like we'll kind of like build on that even more. But yeah, shout out to him, because it takes a village, you know what I mean? And like, until I met Jacob, I was kind of just like I didn't really have direction in what I wanted to do, but when I met him, it was like, you know, just the piece that you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you can kind of like make what I'm thinking come to life in the way I want, because you're kind of interested in the same stuff I'm into.
He paints the picture for you.
Yeah. Okay. So shout out Jacob, man. Big homage to Jacob. Hell yeah.
So, do you think of the shirt and then like the song comes out, or the song comes out and then the
song usually comes out? Yeah.
Okay.
And then everything is post that. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. By the way, Filipinos in Six has merch as well. Feel free to go on.
Yes.
Cop some of those joints.
Go cop the merch.
Love lumpia, all that joint. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Speaking of lumpia, are you a fan of Filipino food?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Like, walk us through like the perfect baon plate.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Tita's telling you, okay, everybody, it's time to, you know? And then you got your little Tupperware, you're ready to go. Everything's still there. What are you picking now?
Mom's menudo, mom's sinigang.
Oh, menudo, forgot about that.
Yeah, like my mom, it's crazy. I haven't seen my mom in however long. Like she hasn't been here with us, but like, that's just one thing. It's like, nobody will ever make it the same way. You know what I mean? Like, certain things you can replicate, even yourself. Like, that's one thing I've been doing. Like, even to cope, sometimes I'll just make
the
food my mom used to make me. But it never really hits the same. But that's one thing, like the menudo, even the sinigang, like my family was just, that was like the celebratory thing. So I just remember that like every birthday type shit, every Christmas, like stuff like that. So those two for sure.
For sure, 1,000%.
You gotta have the lechon in there, just like, you know, decorated.
With the matamas on there? Huh?
Yeah, like all the good stuff, you know? You need all the good stuff.
All the good stuff that's bad for you.
Yeah, exactly. We don't think about that when we go into it, though.
Never.
That's how you, that's the whole process behind it. It's
no, you
just,
eat it now, worry later.
Throw it on the banana leaf and you're good.
There it is.
And then, honestly, pancit for long life.
Oh, yeah.
You need long life.
Noodles.
Is that the superstition? That's a superstition, right? Yeah. Long life. Okay, cool. I'm not wrong.
On birthdays, you eat noodle. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. But that'd be it. A lot of those things my mom made, actually, and it's just I always remember them. So I try my step pop's like, he's my pop. I call him my dad.
Yeah.
But he always makes an effort to like dine out with us, like to any sort of Filipino spot every now and then, just so we could keep that, you know, instilled in us and, you know, kind of there, still present, because she's not here, so.
Okay.
You know?
God bless. So for the people that don't know, your background, you're Filipino?
I'm Filipino.
100%?
Yep.
Okay.
Purebred.
Purebred.
Shout out.
So a lot of the singing influences were...
Hell yeah.
What were your, like, influences, like, listening, like, growing up?
I mean, my mom was a big Madonna lover.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's just something with, like, Filipino women, like, in that age where they just love, like, glam rock and glamour and, like, a bunch of, like, those, like, very bright, like, pop-sounding records.
Yep.
But my mom was really into Madonna. My mom was, like, super into, like, she had a lot of Marilyn Monroe posters in the house. So, like, a lot of, like, shimmery... The only way I can describe it is, like, glitter music. It's, like, Material Girl by Madonna. I could very much remember that was, like, repeat in the house. But then she had, like, other songs, like Josh Groban songs, and certain stuff like that. So I've always kind of been tapped into, like, melody when it came to her. But... then there's like the aspect of karaoke, which kind of comes into every Filipino kid's life, you know?
Absolutely.
So just kind of, and I think that also helped with my stage fright, just kind of like singing karaoke and being in front of like a bunch of people. And I think just us as like Filipino kids develop that. Like, you know, you're in front of if you know how to dance, it's always like, dance for tita, you know what I mean? And like, tita has to watch you do all this. Yeah. It doesn't matter what kind of dance you do, you're going to show it to tita, you know what I mean? So I think doing that was kind of like my intro into melody. But yeah, then I got into like hip hop, and hip hop kind of like took over. But I always kind of knew how to hold a note, and I think that's like the Filipino.
So that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Did you like start out singing? Like, did you do church or?
So you know what's funny is like a lot of my come up was like not the traditional Filipino kid come up. Yeah. Again, like, you know, my Filipino dad wasn't really in the picture, and my mom was like had immigrated to here, but she was kind of like feeling North America out and like kind of getting into this culture, you know, being Canadian. And then she met my pops, who's like my step pops, who's Trinidadian. So I'm mixing it with Trinis. Yeah, like I'm mixing it with Trinis and kind of getting like the Caribbean side, and then you know just kind of like bouncing back and forth. So yeah, it's I never really I've actually it's cool in my older man years, you know, being at the age I'm at, I'm actually trying to explore it even more. And just kind of get integrated more into it, and even just give us more representation, because yeah, it's like a great thing to just like whenever I think of culture, I always just think about my mom, you know what I mean? Like she definitely wanted me to be a Canadian kid, but she's like, all right, but don't forget, you know what I mean? But yeah, like it's really, really cool seeing that when she came here, like it was like she just wanted to put me on, like always. Like she just always wanted to put me on. So it was cool. Like when I think about my first like come up into music, it was just karaoke. And
was there any specific song like you?
Oh Carol by Neil Sedaka.
Oh, that
I remember
accurate as hell. That was so on point.
Yeah, Oh Carol by Neil Sedaka. I don't know if you guys know that song.
I don't. Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna look that up.
Yeah, the good one. And it's funny because like there's a line in there that's like, and I learned this until recently. It's like one of those life callbacks, but there's literally a line in that goes, I will always want you for my sweetheart. And I'm like, oh, I was like
destined for the sweetheart.
Yeah, it was destined for sweetheart. So
okay, yeah. But the rap, what was the first rap song that like set you off? You're like, oh no, I kind of want to do this also. I mean, in getting into rap in general, Eminem Without Me was like, I'd always like kind of heard rap here and there, but Without Me by Eminem was just something, it was a music video and everything in there, and just all that kind of like in my little brain, like it was like, I just loved hip hop after that. And then 50 Cent came out and it was over. Like 50 Cent was like, I didn't want to be anybody but 50 Cent. Get Rich or Die Trying,
Get Rich or
Power of the Dollar, all that, like.
Yeah, like that mixtape come up. Like for some reason I was just like, listen, like you would hear it, you know? So I just, especially at that time, you know, G-Unit was G-Unit.
No, they were.
But the one song that made me want to rap was I'm Ready by Rochester. That was like the song that made me actually want to write a rap.
Really?
Which was cool. So that was like somewhat of like a walk into this, which was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I never really like tapped into singing until like my older years.
Okay.
But I always kept, you know, it's still the influences, you know?
Sometimes a rapper knows how to sing, but then it takes something to bring it out of them, or or an experience or a transition of sorts. Was there anything specific that was like, oh, I'm gonna start singing? Like,
honestly, like I kind of just started singing because like nobody else would kind of sing on my hooks when I was a rapper.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, like let me just sing my own hooks.
Yeah.
And then I did that.
100% publishing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and just kind of, and you know, I'll always give credit to Drake being the I rap, I sing guy. Yeah. And also empowering people that never really traditionally learned how to sing to sing. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and you know, to jump on what we were saying earlier, because I went on a different train of thought. I was never really raised in the church like that. Like I was always kind of outside of a lot of Filipino kid norms, whether it was like going to the church or, you know, I played in a basketball league for a bit, but that was just to prove to people that I kind of like
you were
had
Filipino.
something. Yeah, like, you know, I was, you know, not to get too dark about it, but when I was like a kid, I was actually like super depressed because like I never felt like I like belonged or had like a special thing, because that was when like kids would go to like, you know, rep hockey or like, you know what I mean? Like house league hockey and stuff. I never really had that. So it was like really weird because, yeah, the Filipino kid thing was like join a basketball league, and then I tried that, but that wasn't really where I fit in. And a lot of the kids had money and my parents didn't really have it like that. So it's hard to like kind of relate to those kids. And I think like my small brain mind kind of associated being Filipino with those kids. And that's when I kind of started being a little more on my dad's Trini side. And my mom too, like, which is really like random, but she was around like a lot of hairdressers, like a lot of Italian hairdressers, loud women and stuff. So I kind of getting into Italian culture and stuff like that. But then again, like getting older and being able to control my crowds, I was locked in with certain Filipinos that were like, oh, nah, you're cool as shit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. This is what it's like to actually be included now, you know? So I think that was like a big testament to things, just kind of being locked in with the right crowd of Filipino people. And especially just as of now, like, you know, locking in with certain people. I mean, Sammy's here, so shout out to Kuya.
Shout out to Sammy.
But yeah, like, and people like you, and, you know, when we did the One Mix show, just like kind of seeing all, like, everybody in one space, it was just like super cool. Cause yeah, again, like I never had really felt included when it came to a lot of like those groups of Filipino kids that had all the new Jordans and like all that stuff. I was just a bit rougher, you know what I mean? Yeah. But again, just like being older now, I want to be integrated in it like more than ever, because I have a choice to. You know, I include myself. You know, I want to go to the motherland. I've never been, but I want to go over there and, you know, learn things directly.
That's an amazing.
I think that'd be really cool. Yeah, definitely a different perspective when it comes to like, you know, the Filipino kid come up.
I think I see why I gravitate towards you. We have very similar upbringings and things of that nature. I wasn't your quintessential Filipino kid as well, in and out of jail, fighting all the time, you know. But there were some things that really remained like in stock. I saying I did all that other stuff too as well, basketball too. But yeah, I know. I was always wondering until now, like I'm like, oh, that's why like we have such like a similar parallelism, you know.
Definitely, I noticed that off you too, which is why like I really fuck with you, because I feel like we can relate on those levels. You know, you lived in New York, you know what I'm saying? Like I have too. I've lived.
That's right. You lived in.
Yeah, okay. I lived in LES for like a couple years.
Lower East.
Yeah, so it's New York.
So you speak Spanish, man. You're Puerto Rican, but
yeah, I can't speak it, but you know, I was tied in with the Puerto Ricans for a bit. You know,
LES is all the Puerto Ricans, brother.
Hell yeah, man! Shout out. Those are great times too. You know, I was in New York when the ASAP come up was happening.
Oh wow!
So a lot of people don't know that, but I was like very much like right next to it, which is super cool, because that's Ridge and Delancey. That's where like A Life was.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like very much relatively.
Black scale.
Yep.
That was a crazy time, man. Union was there. Was Union still on? I think the Union was by Black Scale.
Yeah.
That was a lot of the great street code. So yeah, man, as far as streetwear, you're probably like...
Yeah, very nerdy about it.
Yeah.
Mad nerdy about it.
Oh my
Hell yeah.
Well,
and still learning. Like, especially now when like all this blog era stuff is kind of coming back. Oh, hell yeah. Like, you know, burn rubber fitteds and like stuff like that. I'm like really nerdy when it comes to it. Yeah.
Off camera, we'll nerd out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to know. Good people to know. You know, you said Philippines, you've never been there. I've never been there myself. So are you planning on going? Or?
Yes. You know, I don't want to say too much about it, but I do know that my first visit, I really want to make something out of it, mainly because I have a lot of fans over there, and I haven't claimed that space yet. But I do want to approach it very genuinely, you know, like I'm actually really trying to figure out more about myself. Like, I never was in control of that when I was a kid, but now that I'm older, and now that I have like this great welcoming over there, like, yo, come over here. Like, I'm like, oh shoot, like it's just now more than ever I should go. So yeah, I'm making that a priority next year. And I just want to empower the scene over there with what I got. You know what I mean? There's a couple rappers over there that really fuck with me. And I'd be a fool not to reach back out and say what up, because they're really setting the trends over there. And like, who am I to just think as like a North American dude, like I'm good without that? Nah, like I should go back and really like fuck with my people.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that's a mission for me next year.
Amazing.
Hell yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, man, I just want to let you know, like, as far as the representation of a role model for Filipino kids, I think you're an amazing one.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think a lot of kids do already look up to you unknowingly. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. But I'm just going to tell you straight up, like, I ride bikes with the kids, and whenever I play Scarlet's Weekend, whenever I play Blueberry Fago, you know, like certain FMU, Lindsay's Freestyle, even all of them.
Thanks, man.
Everyone's always like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, and if they haven't heard it, they're always just, okay, now it's on the playlist. Now it's on the ride out.
Hell yeah.
You know?
I think there's something to just be said about like the representation of a very, very outwardly spoken Filipino kid. I think we need a voice, and we need like a cool, younger, trendy voice that is actually like, I know what's up. I'm tapped in. You know what I mean?
Super relative, man. Like, that's what I
Definitely.
think. Like, people can look at you and see a lot of them in you.
Hell yeah.
You know, like,
I have a lot of like just Asian kids in general that approach me and kind of just like talk to me and say like, you know, I was born in a very Asian traditional household, like, and like, you know, I wasn't allowed to do this. I wasn't allowed to get tattoos. I wasn't allowed to do X, Y, and Z, but you know, your music, but plus you just inspire me to be more outwardly like myself. And now I get tattoos, and now I do X, Y, and Z. And you know, you don't necessarily have to go get a tattoo and do a bunch of stuff, but just to express yourself, I think is like cool in terms of like representation. More Filipino kids could just kind of look at me and be like, yo, I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not be held to what you know, whatever is like tradition or whatever, you know, being meek or being passive. Like, nah, we got to be on the forefront. And I feel that way in an industry sense too. Like, I really feel like there needs to be like a purebred Filipino in the forefront.
Yep.
You know, any representation is great, by the way. And shout out to everybody. But you know, you need like a pure Filipino guy in the forefront. Like,
Yeah.
nah, like I'm really here to represent in a general sense. And that's like a big mission of mine, to really like represent for that kid. Cause you know, a kid's, it's so much music today. You know, there's so much music today. And that's like, I look at that as incredible because I want to go and collaborate with it and mesh myself into there. So kids can have a Lil Baby poster and then a Russell poster.
right next to
You
it.
know what I'm saying? So that's my big mission. And it's always been my mission since I was a kid. So I've just been trying to embrace it more than ever, especially just like having those plans to go back home. I really want them to kind of like see like, nah, we're included too. He's not just trying to go to North America to do his thing. Nah, he wants to bring us with him.
Yeah, he's touching base.
Hell yeah, and I think we need that more than ever.
Do you speak Tagalog?
I don't, but I'm willing to like kind of learn and,
Yeah.
you know, kind of like jump into the space. I kind of want to just learn at my own pace and not like force myself into it too much. But you know, there's certain words I can kind of like understand here and there, and you know.
Well, I know that like a lot of times, a lot of Filipinos understand it, but then for whatever reason, like I can understand almost all of my Lolo used to speak to it.
Oh, cool.
All the time, but I can't speak it back. I don't know why.
Yeah, I get what you.
Or I have to imitate it.
Yeah, you don't want to butcher the accent.
Yeah.
You don't want to butcher pronunciations, but I think, you know, the effort is appreciated.
No, 1000%. And going back to what you were saying, like, I think it's like our responsibility to like make sure the younger generations and keep passing down tradition, cultural tradition, Filipino tradition. Hence why, like, I think once you go to the Philippines, I go to the Philippines, whatever, once we're immersed in it and we have no other way, we have to speak Tagalog. I think that's it. It's like that only way, you know, like
For sure.
because like everyone speaks English. It's an English-speaking country as well. But
Yeah.
But I'm
Which
gonna
is so
I'm gonna try. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna try my best to speak as much as I can, and then they're gonna call me Yankee, whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll take all the fall for it, you know.
1000.
But as long as you know, I know I'm trying to get tapped in.
Yeah.
You know, and if the intentions are golden, people, the real will always understand that.
No,
What's understood like never has to be explained. So it's like people can just smell it on you if you're looking to leech or if you're actually like, oh, no, I'm here for this reason, you know. But like I feel like the real over there always understand, man.
Okay.
For sure.
You said you grew up with the Trini influence.
Yeah.
So do you like soca music?
Yes, I have a big appreciation for it. Super appreciation for it. Even calypso.
Okay.
You know, calypso is like, it's just certain drum patterns that are like, you know what I mean? Like I just, even like my auntie, like, you know, Tassa band, like stuff like that, you know, just like hearing those drums, like they're so familiar within my head. It's like, I remember even going to like the flea market as a kid and hearing like, you know, calypso music going through the speakers, and like, it's just embedded, you know, smells and music, you know, those are the two things that are embedded in you, like when it comes to remembering things. And it's like, yeah, whenever I hear calypso, it just reminds me of my childhood all the time. It's crazy.
Did you eat a lot of like roti?
Yeah, hell yeah. And I still do. Yep, kalori, all that till this day.
Man.
Like literally, I'm seeing my family on Saturday, and like literally, it's gonna be all that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, and what I love is when my mom was alive, both would be in the picture.
Oh,
I get
wow.
Trini food and I get Filipino food at the same time.
Spread right
It
there.
was incredible, dude. And like my sister's mixed, so like she just her palate is just like, yeah, she gets both. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool. Like I wouldn't trade my childhood and all the cuisine that I experienced for nothing. Like I loved it. It's incredible.
You went to school out here?
Yes.
Okay.
I went to Notre Dame and then I dropped out. But yeah, shout out. Stay in school, please. Please stay in school. Don't do what I did. But yeah, I mean, I will say though, and I hate to say it like this, but it was pretty cool telling myself that I dropped out to be a rapper. So, I mean,
There it is.
I will say that, you know, I do take pride in like, you know, the risk that I took. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So rapper transitioning into R&B artist,
Yeah.
or just artist, I should say.
I mean, I'm proud to claim R&B.
R&B, okay. So
That's what it is.
how was that? Like, was it easy? Was it
You know,
hard?
it fit like a glove.
Feel like a glove.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
I mean, we're Filipino, man.
Yeah.
We love R&B. That's like, and we love Usher, You Got It Bad R&B.
R&B, yes.
We love like singing in the shower,
We love
like
Mariah
this
Carey fantasy.
R&B. Yeah, like just the rain. This is like, you know, just doing this in the rain R&B.
Mm-hmm.
And like we love. There's certain soul in being Filipino. Like we have soul too, which I feel is just very like parallel to black soul. Like
Mm-hmm.
we can relate to it in this weird sense. So I just, yeah, I'm super proud to claim R&B, and like it again, like I said, it fit like a glove, man. Like especially when I made Scarlet's Weekend, it was just like
Sorry, you know
off top, yeah, like just off top. Like I felt like that was home for me. So just kind of moving forward with the music I was making, I was like, I want this feeling again. And R&B has given me that feeling, and I think rap has only just helped me with my pen. So like I'm able to pen and like really make, like, that's why Scarlet's Weekend sounds incredible.
Bro.
You know, it's written from a
Every
great place.
bar for bar, Scarlet's Weekend. The minute I heard it, I closed my eyes. I have an experience. It's very similar. And it's just like,
Thanks, man.
man, from beginning to end, I want to say I tear up every now and then just because of that woman isn't in my life anymore.
I feel
But it was so reminiscent. It was so good. Man, like that grown woman, like the repetitiveness of the grown woman.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, man. And it's cool
Great
because
time.
like it's just like it really reminds me of the R&B records I like, you know? It's that singing in the shower, like, you know, just like the belt, you know what I mean? And I live for that. I love making songs like that. So again, like it felt like home, man. Like,
is there a process that you go through with like beat selection? Because it's always great. Like you have great your sonic.
I love that you asked that, man. I mean, you know, Kyle, You Made That makes, like, basically, he executive produced my album. Like, that's my, like, 40. You know what I mean? Like, Kyle's everywhere with me when it comes to the music. And, yeah, he's just...
You guys just have that synergy, man. Like,
yeah, man. And we work, you know, we work in-house. Like, I'll get a beat pack every now and then. I don't think anything off the album was really necessarily a beat pack. But, you know, especially with that, the in-house music making, I just love getting in and hearing piano chords, and even just having Kevin Sassy, he plays a lot of my guitar on my
or
phone.
butt naked, just in the
Yeah, like Kevin Sassy, he really kills the guitar. So like we're able to kind of like have this synchronization where he'll play a guitar lick, Kyle already has the drums, and I already have like the first verse and hook written out in my head. So we'll just cut them line for line. I record like a rapper. So like I just punch in lines.
Everything sounds so full.
Yeah,
Full breaths.
definitely. Yeah. I think like, you know, it's I think it was like Cook Harrell, if I believe, but he's like an amazing engineer, and just kind of like watching videos of him engineering Bieber, I see like, oh, you just want to get the best takes and you want to get the best out of the artist. So I do that a lot in like a self-recording process. So
That's what I was about to ask you. You're in your home, you have a little pre-production. Do you do a lot of like pre-production first and then be like, oh, I kind of like that, and then
you know, a lot of things are skeletons. That's like a lot of the album was like skeletons for a while, and the skeletons just sounded amazing. So like we just make sure that we get like a good bounce demo first, and then I make sure I don't get too much demoitis. I always make sure there's room for improvement sonically.
Yeah.
So I'm very like reasonable when it comes to revisions and just post-prod, but that post-production is my favorite part of the process, because that's like Kyle and I just like going back and forth on what would work, what doesn't work. Can we add something here? Can we shorten this record? Like that's like kind of the best process to it. But it's like I just been doing a lot of in-house, which I feel like is my thing. Like I like a good beat pack every now and then, but it's just something about building it from scratch that like I love, and it's not too time consuming. We'll go through like 3 to 4 songs in a night, all from scratch, and that's just all energy. Like, so I credit Kyle for that. Like I always want to walk around repping my guys, because Kyle definitely opened me up very musically, like to everything, and just being like very understanding about certain things. So there's songs on the album where you're like, you never knew I could hit that pocket, but it's like Kyle just being like, bro, try this. And I fucking tried it. You know what I mean? So yeah, shout out to him. Shout out everybody I collaborate with. Kevin Sassy, Kevin Hideout, like they all like contributed to my love for R&B. So
is there like a process where you're like, oh, I have this idea, and then the beat builds around you or that specific idea? Or is it normally all the time like, oh, that's a nice guitar riff, and then you just start humming?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is like it all takes like the first like 3 chords, and I know it's up.
And you're it.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like sometimes your homies will be synchronized with how you're feeling. So it's like they'll just know off top where you want to go. Like especially Kevin Sassy, like he's very good at like picking up a mood. And the moment I pick up on a mood, it's like everything's kind of freestyled out. So I just kind of like go with that, because I'm a very hyper dude. So like if there's that momentum there, I have to keep it up. But that's what makes like great songs. Like make the greatest songs in like 20 minutes. So,
those spontaneity moments.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I think, you know, my advice to artists too is like really lock in with some people, like lock in with some homies that like really know music and study music, because I feel like the best music comes out of like nerding out and just like really, really being influenced by this shit. If you're a fan of music, your music is going to be sick, because you really want to make what you're a fan of. So yeah.
Is there any artists you're looking to like potentially you foresee yourself working with? Or
oh hell yeah, I got them split. I want to say Filipino artists. I want to say Scusta Clee. He's from out there, crazy dude. Like I love his music. There's Al James. I just got locked in with him recently. I'm trying to think. I mean, Jess Connolly. She's Phil-Am. Or I think she's from Australia, but she's incredible. I want to work with her. Shout out Jay Khan. I'm trying to think of 2 more. Oh my God, there's so many Filipino artists I want to work with. Sorry?
Manila.
Oh yeah, Manila great too. Those are the homies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
those
are the
guys are
homies.
super talented.
For sure. And then Pilo, like I think I'm a big fan of just Bay Area culture in general. I feel like what nobody talks about, and I love to talk about it on this, is like the Bay and Toronto really have a lot of dope parallels. Really dope parallels. You'll speak to people from Oakland and you'll be like, all right, what's one place you want to live at for the rest of your life? And they will tell you Oakland. Like, it's the same thing with me in Toronto. Yeah. Like, if you ask me, I would live in Toronto for the rest of my life. I just love it here. You know, the hyphy music, just having a parallel to how we look at, like, you know, a lot of our stuff is like dance hall and stuff like that, but we really get hyper. Like there's energy here. So I think like those 2 parallels, and then cultural parallels, like a lot of blacks and Filipinos click up here, which I see a lot in Oakland, like in the Bay in general. So like, I've just always had this like weird relation to it, like I actually listen to Too Short, and I actually listen to a lot of these dudes like E40, Jay Stalin, like I really like Mr. Fab, like all that. I'm very tapped in. Even Pilo, like I'm tapped into his discography. So I think it'd just be dope for one, like Filipino kids for me to work there, and to also like, you know, bring
the gap.
Yeah, like Toronto and the Bay, like authentically working together, and we're already kind of like tapped in with each other's shit. So it's only a matter of time. I think I got a record for him too, like on me. So yeah, shout out Pilo. And then when it comes to just general R&B, I want to work with one legend. So I would definitely say Charlie Wilson. Like me and Charlie Wilson would be insane. Because I get a lot of my riffs from him and a lot of like certain runs. Like I just, yeah, even on the album, like you'll hear. And then I definitely want to say Usher. I love to like, you know, either write with Usher or just like in some sort of capacity work with Usher. He's amazing. Frank Ocean for sure.
Oh, wow.
I think Frank Ocean and I would make something incredible and very like, I love to tap into like just different pockets, because that's what he does. Like he taps into so many pockets, which I love. And then of course SZA. That's like a big manifestation. Want to do a duet with SZA.
It's gonna happen next month. Watch.
Hell yeah! Hey man, I'm putting it out there. I love SZA.
Gonna push it. SZA, you're watching. I know you.
Hell yeah! Shout out SZA.
You like Filipino.
And then hell yeah, for sure. She would she would feel the flavor. I definitely feel like she would, and just to have her tapped into the culture, I feel like she would love that. And then Drake, like R&B Drake. I would love to work with R&B Drake. Like him and I just like, he has like a lower octave and I have a higher octave, and I think like mashed in, that would just make an amazing song. So
perfect match.
I would say Drake is R&B. Like, you know, as much as he's a rapper too, he's both. Like he's like a top tier rapper, but people got to give him his R&B credit. Like incredible R&B artist. He wrote Unthinkable. So
well, I didn't even know about Drake until somebody showed me that Page song, and he was just singing the hook on it.
Oh yeah.
I was like, who is this guy? And they're like, oh, you can see him. He's at West Palm or because he used to spend time in Florida pushing his mixtape and things.
Cool.
And then
didn't know that.
A couple of guys I used to cut hair for, politician guys, they were like, yo, there's this guy named Drake, and they passed me the CD, and I was just like, oh, this guy's gonna get signed.
Yeah,
1000%. But I just want to go back to the Usher thing, because I think that could be manifested as well.
Hell yeah.
If you have you been to Atlanta?
Once, for like a couple days.
I think you would be a shoe in there.
You know what's funny is so many people say that.
I think
so many people say that. They're like, why are you in Atlanta right now?
You have such an eclectic gravitational pull towards you. I think these people around there would just love you, eat you up. Pause. But yeah, they would definitely be in that circle. Plus, like, just that energy is so good. I mean, there's other cities, but what city do you like to record in them? Like, what city has given you the most energy?
I love that you asked that. I mean, I recorded in LA. Like, we did FMU in LA. So I think like when it comes to LA, I like recording a lot of like live or like, you know, high energy music out there. Cause like my life in LA is like, it's like, you know, you're in California, you're gonna smoke a lot of fucking weed. You're gonna drink a lot of tequila. So it's like, yeah, the girls out there are like very friendly and like cool as shit. And the experiences there, like, you want to flex about something, because especially when you're out in LA and you know the right people in LA. Thankfully, I know the right people in LA. It's like I'm tapped into a lot of shit, so like I'm able to do a lot of cool stuff that I would put in bangers. And then you go to Toronto. Like, Toronto's my favorite place to put anything down, because it's like, no, I'll go everywhere and then kind of come back to Toronto and take all that energy and kind of like
just own it. And then
yeah, since I'm back at home, it's like kind of looking at it from like all right, let me review what just happened. Okay. So it's like you're like back in the cold, like especially just coming back from like a warm place to back home, like creatively you're like, what just happened, you know? And it's cool to kind of discover. And then, you know, the fact that we have like half the year is winter, so you kind of gotta stay in.
Yeah,
like you need to stay in. So I think with all that, it's funny, I think like the newer generation has this thing where they don't want to be alone with their thoughts or something. If you're from Toronto, oh, you spend that 6 months in winter and you're alone with your fucking thoughts. Oh, that's why we have the 40 puts the beat underwater type genre where we're all moody and we really sing about our feelings. It's like, I feel like that's where it comes from. Like that being from Toronto and just like being inside all winter, like I feel like that's where those sonics come from. So I really, really take advantage of that, like being from here. And I'll always love being from here. I'll live in Toronto for the rest of my fucking life. Like it's something about here that has those D10 keys and that 40 synth play that you just think about when you're on the GO train. Like, I think about those things. I don't know if anybody else does, but it's just certain songs. It's certain just...
I don't want to make any deliberate comparisons or anything like that, but when I first heard House of Balloons in Florida, I was playing basketball, dribbling a basketball, and I was just blown by the sonics of that. Shout out Doc McKinney, a good brother of mine. It was just amazing to hear it, something different, you know, how just unruly it was with like it wasn't mixed and mastered. It was so like, you know, it was rough.
The roughness.
And then I had a chance to listen to it here, Living in the Winter. And I was like,
hell yeah.
I was like, oh.
It's different.
This is why I felt a certain way, And then I say all that to say this is that some of your music does that for me. You know,
Thanks,
like,
man.
I know that like for instance, I don't hate to go back to Scarlet Letter, but Scarlet's Weekend, but man, that song puts me in like, I'm not even on my bike anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, touch me, make me. I'm just like, where am I right now?
Yeah.
I'm in a hotel room with this woman, you know,
For real.
and I'm magically getting kissed on my neck, and you know, like I'm just picturing like, you know, but like you're painting such a picture.
Thanks, man.
And I know so many guys won't admit it. You won't admit it. You won't admit it. But that grown woman put it on you, boy.
Yeah, yo, I mean, that's what Russell music is. It brings a man out of that shell.
It is.
We always want to play tough, and like we get taught, especially if you had been raised like by a family that doesn't really like touch on a mental health like that. And that's nothing against them. That's just tradition. And of course, immigrating from another country, it's like we get taught to like really contain these feelings and hide them. Even
Harden ourselves.
Yeah, like harden ourselves. But like I feel like we all have heart. I'm at the realest G's in my life, and they all have cried, and they all have loved a woman and feel that way. And I just feel like even just being Filipino, like we're into romance, like we're such romantic people. So hell yeah. So I just love like being the representation of like men coming out of their shell. Like I look in the crowd at my shows and it's men like singing like belting Scarlet's Weekend at the top of their lungs, and like they feel that shit. And like I think that that's like the next wave coming up, where it's like, you know, we have the toxicity wave, and I love toxic R&B, but like I'm just authentically a romantic dude. So I just kind of like bringing that to the forefront of like the music that I make. Even like with Lindsay's freestyle, it just sounds like, it's weird, like even the people could kind of like tap back into Lindsay's freestyle too, but like when I hear that song come in, especially with the synths, it literally sounds like when you see the girl you love for like the first time in a while, and like those hearts are floating above and shit. Like I write for those feelings, those like real authentic love feelings, where it's like you can't hire a writer for this, you have to feel it yourself. You know, and I think that people can tap into that because yeah, man, you can't fake a good girl. Like when you meet the like what you think is perfect, and she compels you that much, like whether you're making the song or listening to it, it just reminds you of that song, and you can't fight that feeling.
Oh my God,
that's
this needs to be a song right here. What we're talking about?
Yeah.
I'm getting like goosebumps right now.
Hey, I mean, that's the album. You know, like my album coming up is that, you know, the appreciation and the dedication to that feeling. Because as men, we have that feeling, but it's like we can't really talk to our boys about that. Like we can, but it's like kind of makes for a weird room. But I feel like if more men tapped into that, and then we grouped up with that honesty, it wouldn't be that awkwardness.
No, man.
Like we would all really understand, and like that's how I feel. Like that's like the man-to-man dap up to me. Like that's like, oh, like you feel like I do. Like we both feel. And yeah, I make music for the feels. Like I really love that moment when something, whether it's a bar in a song or the bridge of a song, like it hits you, and like you get the chest feeling, and you're like, I listen to a lot of music high, so I'll be smoking and like really, really tap into what that chest feeling is, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm feeling something. And you want those songs to do it. You know, the songs that do that for me are like, I'm trying to think, but it's certain Drake songs that do it for me. I mean, like, I'm trying to think of R&B Drake. There's so many.
Album with his head sideways.
Oh, Nothing Was the Same. Yeah. I mean, Furthest Thing.
That one had so many.
Marvin's Room will definitely make you feel like that. Marvin's Room definitely has like that, like, okay, like, I'm here. I felt like this before.
Yeah.
You know, so.
You're talking to me.
Yeah. A lot of that relatability factor is key, and I think that's people want to talk, like, you know, I definitely tapped in, you know, so like people are talking about R&B this and R&B that, but I feel like the best R&B comes from feels, and that's what we need. So I don't want to be the guy to complain. I don't want to aid to the complaining. I want to contribute.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And especially being an outsider of the culture, like we're Filipino, you know what I mean? Like this is a black art form, and we want to step in and we want to respect it, but also contribute. So that's what I want to contribute, you know, stepping in. And that's why even like mentioning Usher before, like he had those songs, still has those songs.
Yeah, man.
So I feel like he'd be a great fit to the world, but there's other artists I want to put in this world too. So, you know, it's something that I'm very passionate about, because like, that's me living my purpose. Like this is my purpose. I want to come into this and really contribute and make a mark on what this is, especially for Filipino people, man, because we love R&B.
No, that's admirable.
Like, how is it no like R&B Filipino dude with his shirt off? Like, we're trying to see him, like baby oil him up, you know what I'm saying?
I wear no shirt, but I just don't sing, you know?
Hey man, I mean, that's what we got my music for, you know what I'm saying? We all could believe that we can, you know what I'm saying? We all could belt out together. So I think like that's my mission with my album. Like I really want to make like falling in love cool, because it's the coolest feeling ever.
Amazing feeling.
So yeah, man.
For those that haven't fallen in love, they don't really know. They can't relate. But they will maybe listening to the new album. What's it called?
When is this coming out? Yeah.
Coming out.
Yeah. I have a way of telling people, but I will say that when people do hear it, it'll all make sense. It'll all make sense. Yeah.
I see the stars aligning right now, man. I'm not a constellation guy, but I see them.
Yeah.
This guy right now.
But I'm just so excited to put it out, and I think it's going to be something that a lot of people are really going to like cite, you know, and just like it's going to be that stamp. I feel like it's going to be that stamp, man.
Is this like a culmination of things? Is this like a long time coming type album? You know? Yeah,
you know, I don't want to speak too much on the shortcomings, because there's like business stuff involved, and
no worries.
You know, I respect a lot of people on that side, but you know, I had a long process. I went through a lot of I guess just a lot of ups and downs within the industry, but I love music. I stayed, you know, I stayed with my head down, just kind of trying to figure everything out. And now that, you know, Gavin and I are locked in, and, you know, to shout out the public, just kind of like...
Shout out Trung.
Yeah, shout out Trung. Like, everybody just kind of helping me out, like putting this out the right way. I've just always wanted it out the right way. So it's been a 3-year process, but now after 3 years, I feel like it's better to put it out more than ever. Like,
okay, we're batting 1,000.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like I'll bet the house on it. This is something. And, you know, we're gonna look back at this interview like a year from now, like, hey, dude, crazy. Like,
remember when we talked that shit?
For sure. And like, we're locked in. Like, you know, you always give me my flowers, and you're very adamant about like the sparkle and like, you know, just the attitude towards it. So you get it, and that's why, like, you know,
well, there's one thing
I love talking to you about it.
There's one thing a lot of industry guys kept me around, in a lot of labels, Jive, Def Jam, but, you know, earlier in the game, they kept me around because for whatever reason, I don't know, I was able to see the it. You know, like once I see the it or I hear the it, I'm just like, oh, I kind of need to just make sure they know it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of times, like you said, you bring the flowers up, nobody really has that, or they just, I don't know, maybe there's just like an ego thing. They can't tell another person like, yo, you're amazing.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I do. And like, especially how much you know this new shit, and like, you know, it's a bigger compliment when it's like somebody that's super tapped in. So.
Oh man. Like, for instance, by the way, the performance that he had at the Budweiser stage, I had the honor and the privilege to see this man perform. Dancing, singing, you know, that's not an easy thing. A lot of people think it's just like a hop, skip, and a jump. No, man. It takes a lot. Yeah. It takes a lot of breath work, practice, you know. How do you stay in shape? How do you, like, what's your regimen? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I go to the gym. I think, like, you know, and a lot of people could, like, watch this and feel inspired, too. Like, I'm not, like, no fitness dude or nothing.
I mean, you look good, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
No pause.
No pause, man. No pause.
No, these guys up, bro.
Yeah, man. You know, I think like mentally, like for my mental health, it just did so much. Like I needed to get into a routine. You know what I'm saying? And like I think too, on top of that, is like I want to live like to see my children. You know what I'm saying? I think I had a little health scare when like my mom passed.
Okay.
And I didn't really know how to cope with that. But I really want to live to see my children. I want my children to see me like healthy, you know what I mean? And have that like cool kind of like healthy dad kind of shit.
Oh yeah, play ball, throw a frisbee.
Yeah, because like that's one thing I notice about a lot of Filipino men. Like we still play basketball and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's always something like that.
We'll,
So
we'll go till the knees drop.
Yeah, exactly. No, for real. And like I kind of like transfer that energy to the gym rather than the court. But I do that, and on top of that, like, you know, I put my 10,000 hours into performing. So I think like it's just like muscle memory for me to just go back out there. I love performing in front of people. It's just like my forte. Like I just
natural.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You just have the it. I don't know how else to really.
Thanks, man.
Say it, man.
Hell yeah. And I'm R&B now, so I gotta like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm working to get the shirt off on stage. Yeah. When the guitar is like going off, and then I take the one, you know, the one in ear out. You're like.
Yeah.
And you're just looking around.
Mind if I take a break with you?
Yeah. You know, like, and then just go right back in. I'm trying to be on that. So, you know, I love staying healthy too. And like, I feel like the one thing that kept me into the gym was just consistency and just being back. Cause I like being healthy. And like, I know you ride bikes and shit. So it's just like that thrill you get when you're, you know, I feel like it's the same thing, like, you know, whether it's speed or whether it's just being out there riding, like
adrenaline.
You just, yeah, it's that adrenaline. Like I get that same adrenaline. And you know what helps too is like listening to what I'm about to perform. We do a lot of post-production, like adding shit.
Yeah.
So I'll take the TV tracks and like put them in my ear, and then I'll just like think of how the show's gonna go and like lift at the same time. I'm really like crazy, like psycho when it comes to like just what I love and like what I like doing. Like, so I'll just think about it all day, like lifting, like how am I going to do this one cue in the show? How am I going to slow this song down here? Like which run am I doing here? And then on top of that too, I learned like Eminem actually runs on the treadmill and raps.
So yeah,
it's like certain things like that I'll do. I'll like jump and sing at the same time, like stuff like that, just to like prepare myself, because I do want to do choreography later on in my career and like stuff like that.
Amazing.
Yeah, man.
So as far as the women, you know, I know you see a lot of them, I know you come across them, you know, is there any like specific things you like, you know, like is there an ideal woman, you know, you could.
I love that you asked that, man.
Rihanna's smile and Beyonce's attitude.
Yeah, honestly, I like when girls got like a really individual style to them, whether it's like maybe you put like a little red bow in your hair because your mom, like, you know what I mean? Like you inherited that from your mom, or a certain set of earrings that you'll get and like you just like a hang down earring, or you know what I mean? Like certain things, I feel like when you trademark yourself, it's something for me to like remember for the rest of however long. Like, oh, that's the girl with the pink shoes, you know what I mean? Or like, oh, that's the girl that wears a different BB Simon belt every time I see her. Like, that's super cool. She got like that collection, so I'll always like, you know, whenever I see BB Simon, I'll think of her.
That's the correlation.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I like girls with just that shit ton of like individualism to them. That's like, you can't beat it because they're so themselves. Because of course, like just like men too, you'll get like a uniform out of a certain personality, but when you can't pinpoint it and you're like, oh shit, like, you know this.
It's the roll of the dice. I don't know what he's gonna wear this time. I don't know what they're gonna wear this time.
For real, right? So like, I like that. I would say I do like corny, like, you know, funny girls. You know, I'm a very big
sense of humor's big, bro.
Yeah, like big. Witty, funny sense of humor type dude. And then when it goes into externals, I'm just like, I got range, bro. I really do. I'm not just saying that because I'm like like a dude that does music and I'm like, all the girls out there. Yeah. Nah, like I got range, bro. I'm like very, whether it's like, and I have like the weirdest, like, you know, there's like the girls with red hair, like the ginger girls that wear green, and it's just like looks cool, you know what I mean? And then there's like, you know, bald hipster chick that like, you know what I'm saying? Like she DJs at a certain bar, like, you know what I mean? And then you can like go over here, like Filipino girl that like, you know, smokes a lot of weed and like drives, you know what I mean? Drives around listening to fucking, you know, Waka Flocka, you know, like just a certain, those are really specific examples, but I know people that are like that. Like I know people that are like that. So it's like, I'm referencing real girls in my life. So I'm like, it's just weird. Like I have this like appreciation for women. I've always been like a very like I can hang out with the girls too, just cause like, and I really credit my mom for that. That's why I feel like a lot of my music is genuine. Cause like my mom really, again, like Marilyn Monroe pictures in the house. I got her lips on my neck, like very much into glamour. My mom was a hairdresser and a makeup artist too. So it's like, I'm really tie into hair. I talk to girls about hair all the time. You got long hair. Like,
It's fabulous, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That's the next thing I was about to ask you was like, how often do you get the treatments?
Every 3 months, every 4 months, I do my thing. Again, like I listen to a lot of girls about hair care and stuff like that. So it's like, I just stay locked in and, you know, taking care of myself, stuff like that. So shout out all the women in my life. Cause you know, women will, here's one thing, man, women will put you on to shit that you never knew about yourself.
Course.
Like, you know, it's on some like Erykah Badu, like Andre 3000 shit, where you'll meet a certain girl and she'll have you dressing a certain way after, or she'll have you like talking your shit a different way,
writing more music or
exactly. So I always give credit, like as a man, to the women who've like influenced me in my life, because you do, like they really do. Us, man, we don't want to like take credit for it. We just I'm been wavy, like blah blah blah. Nah, like it's certain girls that you meet that'll make you wavy.
Yeah.
Like they'll just put you onto something, or maybe it's a way you'll cut your hair. Oh, I like your hair like this, you should try it out. And you try it out, and then it's your thing.
Some girl told me, hey, I like your hair long, don't cut it.
And it just stays. You're like, yo, I got it for real. And you just never do, because you're like, yo, like shorty put me on. I
was like,
not do it. She's a shorty. She knows what the shorty's like. Maybe I should listen, you know?
No way to defy the women, you know, the women. You know?
Yo, for real, man. It's a bunch of, you know, we're dudes. So, you know, we're always locked in with the bros, but sometimes it's the bros taking advice or like, you know, pointers from other bros. Mm-hmm. So they don't really get it. But when you take advice from like a woman, even I just know that from my mom, like when you just take advice from a woman, sometimes you can learn, like, again, like just great shit you never knew about yourself. So yeah, shout out all of them. I could talk about the positive side about that for days, because yeah, they inspired the album. So
well, going back to the performance things, like, do you have any like pre-game things, like, oh, I wear the same socks, or
honestly,
or I gotta listen to Old Dirty Bastard before I, you know, or something.
Yeah, you know, honestly, management sometimes and the promoters kind of hate me because I like having like just certain friends, but I like being surrounded by love. Okay. I think that's one thing. Like,
no, that's
again, like, you know, we're getting older. I'm 30 now, and a lot of my girlfriends, they're like, you know, 30, like 32, and we're all grown up now, like working, you know what I mean? Like doing shit, being adults, right? But like when I get that one night to put them on guest list, come out to the show, just see me for 2 seconds, give me a hug before the show, it kind of just gives me that energy, like, oh, like I'm just singing for the homies, like it's gonna be cool. So I love that. You know, I gotta have homies, you know, not like 50 homies, but you know,
comfort zone.
Yeah, you need that. And I do think, you know, again, like advice for a lot of artists, like bring your friends to the shows, because that's who's gonna go hard for you, for other people to look at, like, oh, okay, this guy must be good. Like those people are going hard. So yeah, I would say that. I don't drink before my shows.
Okay, yeah.
I'll probably drink while I'm on stage, but like never really before, because I like being on point.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it's just that love. Like, I never want to treat it like this is just like, just my job. You know what I mean? Like, it's still music at the end of the day. So when you see the excitement from the people you love, it just puts that battery in your back to make the performance that much better.
Are you very critical with your work? Critique it a lot? Like,
you know, I used to be, but you know, like I said before, man, it takes a village. And I think the greatest thing that I learned from my team and being around people is like, you can be as critical as you want, but like trust the people around you that want to make you better. You know, like even if you hear a critique that maybe like you can't reason with, like
the criticism.
Yeah, and I've learned to do that, especially in R&B. Like, you know, I'm tweaking, you know, I'm in an art form that's like somewhat new, but like I know what I'm doing, you know what I mean? So I feel like within knowing what I'm doing, I could take more advice and know more about what I'm doing. You never, you know, to know everything is like to know nothing, you know what I mean? So I'm always up for pointers, and the only time I'm a perfectionist is in the post-production process, because I'm like, all right, we got to get this mix right. But other than that, man, like I'm just so open to things, just because like funny enough, I love suggestions from people that don't make music. So like, I'll have like a homegirl.
Pure honesty right there.
Yeah, like one of my homegirls works like marketing, you know, and like I'll hang out with her from time to time and just play a song around her just to like see what's up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just people like that'll say like a song is good. I take that info in, and especially, you know, I take music advice from like the people that make music too, but I just love making music and showing it to people that don't make music. because it's like, this is a consumer. You know what I mean? Like they don't
Average.
yeah, they don't know that this is, oh, that's a Waves plugin. Oh, you use CLA on that vocal. Like they don't know.
Those
you know,
hi-hats are down.
yeah, like they don't know. They just know about like they want to get the feels. So
Exactly.
yeah,
And that's the best way to convey it, right? Like, so somebody like that is more or less unknowledgeable,
hell yeah.
but when they feel it, it's undeniable.
Definitely.
It's bulletproof.
Yeah. That's what I love about like my album, because it's like as opposed to the energy of like a dude that's like, this song's for you, girl. And he plays like the guitar. My whole shit is like, I just send you the MP3. You know what I mean? And you get the MP3. And like, that's what a lot of my album was, just sending the song to the girl directly and being like, yo, I made this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that, yeah, man, like that just kind of, it's like, it's just something about like the genuine, I don't know how to say it, but it's like, it's just a genuine energy you get when you send it to somebody that's like, doesn't make music at all.
So
they just live, but yeah, they're just living their own life. And I think that that's like the new love letter. I made you a song, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, like I do look to a lot of my mentors and stuff for the music advice, of course. But I do like making that music that you're just like freely, like it's like a love letter. You just write it, it's in that confidentiality, you just send it out, and it's so personable. So yeah, shout out to everybody that inspired shit on my album, because yeah, it's a lot of women that did, and they deserve that credit for sure.
Well, that's dope, man. Inspiration is important. It's important that you inspire people, you know,
for sure,
things of that nature. Let's talk about some of this art.
Hell yeah,
it's very beautiful. How do you go about picking and choosing certain tats, or you know, like?
Well, shout out to Black Cloud, like Black Cloud Tattoos. They got a new spot in Scarborough. You should check it out. But like, yeah, I think every artist from Black Cloud has tatted me. It's like two others I haven't, but I'm trying to get my shit up. Especially next year, I'm trying to like get more. But honestly, man, like, I got my family. This is my family arm. I keep everything like, you know, relative to family. But like, as of recently, I've just been like, just kind of filling things out and just kind of going by like, when you get all the meaningful ones out, then you're like, all right, I could put SpongeBob on my leg. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. Like, I'm just kind of rolling with life. There's a couple on here. Like, all these are kind of relative just to my taste of what I like. And like, you know, I got Betty Boop from my auntie, because like her name's Betty. So I was around a lot, again, like just being around glamorous, like girly stuff. And like, yeah, man, I like kind of like, I kind of just like putting something on myself and being like, all right, that's it. Like, it's on there forever. You can't walk away. It kind of just teaches you to not regret much. And I don't. Like, I think it's relative to how I just think about life. Like, I don't regret shit. If I did it, I did it. And, you know, you're going to take your accountability for the shit that you, especially if you get a tattoo you don't like, you got to take the accountability on it, like your body. So I really feel like it's relative to life. So yeah, man, I'm going to keep on getting tatted. I want to like kind of cover myself, but like I'm leaving a lot of room for the future. I'm going to have kids. I want to get my kids' names on me. You know what I'm saying? I want to get portraits on me from like people I really like that I meet, you know, in the future. I have that as a mission too. That's a whole other explanation, but yeah, man, like, honestly, I'm just trying to kind of work on, like, here, I got one the other day over here that's healing. It looks like it's peeling right now. It's crazy. But, yeah, man, I'm just trying to get more. But, yeah, like, I just, with the tattoos, man, I always wanted to have an appeal like Travis Barker. Or like, you know, Lil Wayne, like that's why I got face tattoos, like Lil Wayne, like it's Lil Wayne, like you want to look, Lil Wayne made the Carter, like we all wanted a face tattoo.
Oh man.
And then on top of that, yeah, like, you know, Wiz Khalifa, Tyga, you know, that was like kind of what I was into when it came to like just the appeal and like how I want to market myself, because I used to love like just seeing like Travis Barker at like the MTV Awards, like everybody not tatted and he was tatted.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like it looked sick. So, you know, that's the type of dude I am. Love lowriders, you know what I mean? Like very like Cali type, you know what I mean? Like just kind of that energy when it comes to my aesthetic. So, yeah. Do
you foresee yourself, I know you said you want to live in Toronto your whole life, but I mean, do you foresee yourself living in another city anytime soon, or?
Man, I'm just such a visitor. Like I'll spend my weeks, but I don't know. I love Toronto, man. I just love it. This is Filipinos in the Six. Like, you know, I really feel like I'm dedicated to both things. Like, I love being Filipino and I love being from Toronto. Like, I feel like you need to go out of Toronto for a bit to understand how much you love Toronto. Everybody that tells me like everybody that authentically loves Toronto tells me that. They're like, I lived here, but it's just something about here.
You're absolutely
and
right.
I love that. You know, I love putting my big ass winter coat on and like freezing outside with the homies trying to talk about like life in the parking lot. It's like a Toronto pastime when like you got the hands in the pocket and you're like, one of your homies got like his hand deep in the sleeve and he's like wiping the snot off the sleeve.
Man.
That's like real Toronto shit,
right.
bro. Like,
Absolutely right.
especially when you go out like clubbing and shit during the winter and it's like, you know, like you're all huddled and you're like this. You're like, yo, what's the move?
Or after ball runs.
For real, like that's literally, and there's something to be said for that, man, because like it creates such an energy to what we're into. And like, you know, it used to be that screwface capital shit. It used to be a lot of that, but I feel like it's just because, you know, I feel like it's the same thing in Florida. Like, it's so hot over there and everybody's so sweaty that they're kind of pissed off too.
Oh yeah, no, we're on the disgruntled. Yeah, no, man.
I noticed that's some Florida shit. So like on some Toronto shit, it's kind of like a little bit of the same thing. Like it's like cold over here. So we turn to kind of like cold people, you know what I mean? But there's something to be said for that coldness. It inspires a lot. And I think too, just being in a hotbed is so much culture. You know, like I said, like just being a Filipino kid here, like the Filipinos are locked in with the black kids. Like you'll literally have a friend group with a Punjabi kid, a black kid, a Filipino kid, a Vietnamese kid, and a white dude.
It looks like a church youth group.
Yeah, it literally looks like a church youth group, and like they'll all just be posted at the club with each other.
Yeah,
like nothing's happening, and it's like, where do you go for that other than Toronto? And like, I love that because that's what I'm used to. And I think that makes me like, whenever I go to the stateside or anywhere else in the world, I'm able to kind of like chameleon it out and really fuck with different people because I'm from here and I know how to do that. Like I have a lot of people that can attest to me being outside. Like I've really been outside.
You're outside.
Yeah, you see me outside. Like
outside.
I'm really like, I'm locked in with so many crowds here, which is like the difference between me and a lot of artists from here. I could fuck with people regardless of politics, regardless of anything going on, because with me it's the music. Like I've always fucked with the music, and everybody just knows me as a dude that's like always smiling. I'm always smoking weed. I'm always with a bunch of girls. Like I never have been closed off to anybody. So I think like, you know, for what I want to do with Toronto is just like bring that spirit, like really let us know what our value is out here. We have so much value out here. We have so much, the people in the States ask us about us.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, how's it like? Like, do you know Drake? Like just certain questions that are like, man, like we're like New York now. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
we just need my whole thing is we need like a solid uniform now. Because like Nike Tech is like UK shit, you know what I mean? So we need to find something that like how the Timbs are for New York. We need to find. It used to be the ears fitted.
The ears fitted, yeah. I see a lot of that. When I first moved here, I was like, "Ooh, there seems to be a."
Yeah, maybe that's the thing. We need to bring back the ears fitted, because that's how you know that was a real roadman. Like, oh no, you're from Toronto, you got the ears fitted, and it was always up. You never put it down.
Never down.
Yo, for real, I gotta find. You can find those fitteds in like an off place, like where they just sell a bunch of like sportswear that's like, you know, outlet sportswear. I'm gonna find one, man. Or maybe I'll just get the Cutie Pies hat and I'll attach the ears to it on some Toronto shit. But yeah, man, like, you know, just to, like, it's just, I could talk about it for hours about how thankful I am to be from here. And I think more people need to. I think there's always that, like, I guess, like, thing that we, like, people want to do where they seem a little more eclectic or more cool because they want to hate on where they're from. You know what I mean? But I love it. Like, I've been to LA, I've been to New York, and I love both. But it's just, there's nothing like, you know, again, like I said, like hanging out in a Tim Hortons parking lot, popping ollies and just like hanging out with your friends, like, or like going downtown, you know, taking to go, or like hopping on the TTC and like going to a bunch of bars and like, just like hearing a bunch of dance hall all night.
All night.
Like
slapping furnaces.
Hell yeah, yeah. Yo, like where else do they slap the furnace like that? You know what I mean? Like if you watch the Sean Paul Get Busy video, you already know off top. That's what it is. Yeah. Like it's all that. So I just, yeah, man, we need to have more of that appreciation for this city more. Like it's just something that I love about going to these events and seeing like a bunch of different faces. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all partying with each other.
Yeah.
it's like super cool. This is the only place you could go to see a kid in the Vern, like Filipino kid from the Vern, rock the craziest braids, like the craziest, cornrows, like, and we're all cool with it because we're all lending each other culture, and like we're all so cool with each other doing whatever we're doing. So like, yeah, man, like it's just a magical place. I fuck with it. I'll always be proud. I mean, I'm from Brampton. I'll say that.
Oh, but it's still encompassing, the city.
Yeah. I still hang out in the city. I still be riding my PBSC, doing bunny hops off the curb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I love it. And shout out to everybody who's built this city, too. Again, it takes a village, man. You needed your Drakes. You needed your Weekend. You needed your Cardinal Official. You needed Socrates. You needed all these guys, man.
I used to always say, when I landed here, they were always like, what are you going to do? You're going to open up a store? You're going to do this? I said, yeah, in time. But I just want to add to the existing greatness.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's already existing here. Because it's so prevalent that, like, Toronto just, man, like, I was blown away. Literally blown away. And I was just afforded the luxury of just being around the right circles at the right time.
Hell yeah.
And, but yeah, a great way of, like, painting pictures and visions and stuff. So like, as far as this new album, are you looking to work with any like directors that'll bring that video to life? And do you direct yourself?
Yeah, I've been shout out to Danny Simpson and _ Studios. They've been like they produced the last video and Danny directed it, but I write all the treatments.
Oh yeah.
I'm like very much like in the editing process. Yeah, I edit everything. I'm creative directing everything.
Amazing.
So thankfully I've again like having Jacob there and having a lot of my friends, I actually play a lot of like bouncing off the room. Like I'm very big on like, all right, what do you guys think? And like kind of tweaking things so we can all kind of make like the perfect thing that we think is perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, man, like, I think when it comes to like the developmental process of what's going on, like it's like, I just, I love that everything has been homegrown. Like it's all homegrown. Like everything has just kind of been from my room.
Organic.
Yeah, like organic as hell. Like it's an album made from the bedroom, bro. Like I literally made this out of my room.
Those are the best feelings. So, like you said, keep feeling like the feelings. That's where you speak to women. That's where you like. Yeah. Like all the thought process can just happen right there.
Yeah, and I think somebody said to me the other day, it's like if you stay in like a little space for a long time, like you tend to think that way. And that is like a negative thing, but I also think the positives out of it when you're creative is like, no, I want to create how I'm feeling when I'm in this space. And I think like that a lot of those feelings were like depressive feelings. I think a lot of this album, I was like away from people. I don't want to speak too much on like the situation I was going through, but that situation made me like distant from so many people I knew. And I was like just in my room, like thinking all day, like, am I going to make it? Like, am I really gonna like be the artist I've always wanted to be? Like, or is this it for me? You know what I'm saying? Like being really scared. But I think all those feelings got like, they were like all in this room and I just needed to somehow get them out, and I got them out. And like, now I sit in that room and I listen to these songs and I'm like, oh shit, this is how I was feeling. And it's like, it can only be made here. I can't record this and I can't re-record this anywhere else. I needed these takes here. So yeah, man, I'm just really excited to like kind of bring that to the world for sure.
Amazing. Well, once again, I want to say thank you to Suave Cafe. Just wanted to make sure that we big them up. Thank you for hosting us tonight. But do you foresee yourself ever doing a Tagalog song? Like if somebody propositioned you, was like, hey, we're looking to do some Tagalog songs.
I don't want to speak too much on what I'm doing for my future because it's very, but I will say it's in the plans in my head and I know how I'm going to go about it.
Amazing.
And I'm very excited about it, but I'm going to contain myself just because like I know how I want to go about it, but it's going to be cool.
Okay.
It's going to be cool.
We always keep you wanting more on Filipinos in the Six.
Hell yeah. Shout out.
But this book right here, My Everyday Tagalog Words, I just want to make sure we represent it and we show that kids can do it too. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind maybe reading a page or two.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I want to find like a really...
Just get some relativity going.
Okay, this is one. Baha'i means house. I never knew that. Baha'i means house. I never knew that. Okay, that's cool. Shout out this book too. This is illustrated like really well.
No, it's amazing.
It's like... And I love how you have this haircut too. Like that's such a traditional Filipino haircut. Like you already know. This is actually, I'm trying to find a
One that you don't know or you don't use, or
yeah.
I used to learn Filipino words through like cheesy Tito jokes.
Yeah,
know?
same. For
That's
real.
how I would remember it. I would just be like, oh, wait,
For real.
that's how you say damit.
Yo, I saw that earlier. Wait, so that means clothes, right?
Yeah.
Damit means clothes. Oh, sorry, I spit on the book a bit. Sorry. Yeah, but damit means, how is it? Damit?
Damit.
Damit?
Yeah.
Shout out.
It's very abrupt.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to you guys for making this book, though. This is like actually really dope.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Shout out.
Not only children use it. I mean, I
Yeah, I mean, we're over here.
I plan on using it myself.
Okay, so mata means eyes?
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, there was a drill song where a guy said, shots to his mata.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess in a Filipino way, that's like shots to your eyes.
To your eyes.
So, shout out that bar, because it was definitely, shout out.
What's it name from New York?
CJ.
yeah, there it is.
Put one to his mata.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Filipino, we don't know. I know he's Dominican. Que lo que.
Damn. Yeah, shout out. Que lo que to all my Dominicans. This is just so cool. Sorry, I'm like actually like checking out. Like, I love colorful stuff. Walis means broom?
Yeah, well, it's
Okay, cool. Shout out.
we always got that one.
Get this for your kids, man. This is good content for them. And we need more kids on books, man. Especially good picture books. We need them.
I always think
Shout
it's
out.
good just for like the tangibility, the touch, the feel. That's the best way to learn. Well, yeah.
Damn, this is written by you? Yo, shout out. Versatility, man. Versatility. Shout out to the Wu-Tang is for the children, but also the Filipinos in the 6 are too.
Yes.
So, hell yeah.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
For the children. Hell yeah.
So before we check out, I just want to know if there's anything you wanted to share with the world. Make sure that the message. Anything. Any last words?
I will say I'm a very proud Filipino kid. And if you are a Filipino kid watching this, feel fucking very proud. We're amazing people. It's more representation for us on the way. So shout out you. And also this is Filipinos in the 6. Like shout out to where we're from. If you're a Toronto kid watching this, it's very possible. It is very possible. Whatever the fuck you want to do, whether it's making videos, shooting photos, or even if you just want to be like, you want to invent some sort of variation of a hot dog and put it out to the world and have the whole world eating your type of glizzy. Do it, man. Do it. If you have the intention, do it. Because, representation is good for Toronto and Filipino people. And also, my album's coming out soon. So definitely check that out.
Well,
Big love.
It's been an honor. I greatly appreciate
Hell
your
yeah,
time.
dude. I'm so happy it was you.
No,
Hell yeah.
I'm happy it's you.
Sick, hell yeah.
So shout out Filipinos in the 6. This is what we do here. We're gonna have many more guests. Shout out Suave Cafe for holding us down.
Shout out Suave. Hell yeah.
Ever in the Scarborough areas. And peace and blessings, y'all. Have a nice night.
Hell yeah. That was sick. That was fun.
Hope we didn't run over any time or